Where have you been? I bet all of you are thinking that right now. I know it's been a while, but we're finally back here at a Successful Frontier podcast. Thank you for all for being very patient, and we apologize for the delay on our new episode, which is episode 4, finally. We have been very, very busy all over the place. I've started a new job at Max Muscle Nutrition, which is the best supplements you could buy, in my opinion, when it comes to vitamins, proteins, all that good stuff. We also do nutrition plans. Anyway, that has been preoccupying me, as well as trying to get the rest of my personal training business underway. And I'm sure Sean has been very busy with music projects and studying for his insurance exam as well.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. So, but on top of all of that, of course, you know, we've had some struggles, man. We've had some struggles. And, you know, ironically enough, that's going to be the main focal point of this podcast today. It's going to be just about hard times, difficult times, obstacles that everybody is going through. Even some of us, you know, the two of us have been going through. No matter what it is, you know, we'll definitely be touching on it today. But first off, let me start by saying it is a beautiful day to be alive. The birds are out singing. The sun is shining after 3 days of torrential downpour and rain.
I loved it.
Sean loved every second of it.
Yes,
I completely loathed it. Now, I don't mind the rain when I'm inside and I don't have anything to do and I don't have to go outside. The second I have to do things and go outside in the rain, that's when it becomes a problem. But it's just a minor inconvenience. It's not like the world is going to end for me. It's not like I'm sitting there cursing at everybody. 'Cause I would never do that. But yeah, no, it is a beautiful day to be alive. It is Thursday. It is the 1st of May. So we are finally, I think, done with the cold weather. I think all of the nice, beautiful spring, and then soon summer. Summer's almost here. I hope everybody's ready for it. I'm not. Hey, you know, we typically love the cooler temperatures.
I do.
I do as well. Some of you may not know, I was born in Philadelphia, but I lived in Massachusetts and Washington State. Some very, very cold weather, and now I live here, which is still, you get some cold weather, and, you know, Sean lived in Colorado for 9 months.
Yep.
That was a trip. That was an adventure.
That was cold.
I'd like to go out there sometime.
You should.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's a shame I wasn't able to get out there while you were out there.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, to really delve into, you know, the main, you know, juice of the topic, you know, all of us are going through difficult times. I mean, whether it's financially, whether it's relationally, whether it's you know, finding your career path or what you want to do with the rest of your life. It may be struggling with in education, whether you're in, you know, finishing high school or starting college and middle college. You know, we're all feeling the same thing. I know, like I said, I know most of you are going through difficult times. You know, we all are. It's a part of life, but it's also a part on the road to success. You know, nobody, like I said before in other podcasts, nobody got to where they wanted to be without having a couple of difficult times in their life. And that's the most important thing everybody needs to remember, is that just because it's a difficult time doesn't mean you're going to be stuck in that time forever. You know, I heard Eric Thomas, you know, famously said, you know, this may be your beginning, but this doesn't have to be your end. So everybody has to go through tough times in order to make it to success. You know, a very successful, what this podcast is named, a successful frontier. But no matter what you're going through, you know, it will get better if you allow it. You know, that's right. I said it. If you allow it. When things don't go your way, when something bad happens to you, when someone wrongs you, you have the power and the ability to allow your life to get better from there. You know, and what I mean by that is just not letting it completely take over your mind and take over your heart and completely ruin you and break you down. You have the power to flip that situation back around, learn something from it, and keep going. Your thought process and how you look at things is going to determine, how you get through things. You have the power and the ability to learn from it, to strengthen your character, and to become stronger. That's the most important thing, is to definitely build yourself up from whatever, crap situation you might be in. That's really the most important thing. You can't allow yourself to walk around defeated just because something bad happened. You just can't. You something bad happens to people, and they just get so discouraged, and they feel defeated. They feel like they've lost everything, and they just let this defeat cast a big shadow over them, and it's no way to live. No one should live like that. I heard this quote, I forget who said it, but he said, if you haven't failed at something, then you're not on the road to success. If you haven't lost, if you haven't failed, then you're definitely not on the correct path towards success, because that's the only way you become better at what you do. All things in life come and then they pass. Just like, good times and bad times, they come and they go. You just have to go with the flow, embrace it, and then just let it be. Don't let your dreams and your goals and your talents and your abilities pass just because something didn't go your way. Seriously, you're gonna give up just because one thing didn't go your way? Come on. That's just a weak character. You can't just let something or someone just completely ruin your dreams or your goals or your ambitions, or you can't let some event do the same. Just because something didn't go your way, somebody didn't come through for you, or somebody has left you, or whatever it might be, or even if it's outside, even if it's not even part of your road to success, like whether it's relationally, something bad happens with someone you care about most. That's just a distraction. Life is going to throw all different kinds of distractions at you just to get you, to challenge you. It's going to be there all the time. Sure, it's bad when someone upsets you or abandons you. It's bad when you get knocked down. But, what I ask everybody is, if you get knocked down, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit there and, just wallow in self-pity and be upset and just say, oh, look at what's happened to me. This happened to me. I can't do this. I'll never be able to do this. Come on, man. That's just no way to live. Are you going to, that's why I just said, are you going to walk around, defeated and play the victim, or are you going to pick yourself up and allow yourself to become stronger and better than ever before? And I think every single one of us has that ability. You definitely have that ability. There's nothing you can't get through. There's nothing you can't overcome. You just have to, when you get knocked down, you just got to breathe in that humble air, that humbling atmosphere, and then just pick yourself back up and keep going. I believe every single one of us has that ability in us, because, you are more powerful than you could ever imagine. Nobody can take that away from you. You have to remember what brought you here to this point. Remember why you're doing what you're doing, why you've invested so much time and resources. Hold on to that and never let it go. Now, you may wonder, are there going to be moments where you want to quit, moments where you think the load is too heavy? You may not even been knocked down yet, but you're getting there. Or the mountain is just too big to climb, the road is too long. Of course, absolutely. It will be walking right next to you every second of every day, telling you it's not worth it. And I want you to remember this. Fear and doubt are the vultures that sit on your shoulders. You have to discipline your mind to not let distractions and excuses and petty inconveniences get in your way. When those hard times come, you have to remember your reason for doing what you do. That will drive you when there's nothing else. That will push you when you have nothing else, when you have nothing left. That reason, that why, we've talked about this before if you've listened to the other podcasts, that why, that reason why you're doing it, that'll get you up, that'll push you through, that'll give you the strength to endure to get to where you want to get, because you got too much riding on this. Everybody's counting on you. You got too much, riding on this dream of yours. Too many people depending on you. Everything depends on it. You have too much riding on this thing to just let it go. You may be tired, may feel out of energy, but you cannot quit because you haven't succeeded yet. Are you where you want to be? If you honestly feel like you're about to quit, you're about to give up, you're about to settle for less, then ask yourself, is this where you want to be in your life? Are you where you want to be? Are you living where you want to live? Are you living your dream yet? Are you are you as successful as you want to be? Are you living on purpose? Are you living your dream? Are you, whether it's financially or whatever, if it's financially, are you where at the point in your life where you're getting what you think you deserve or what you want financially? Nothing is ever over until you give up or you win. Which do you want? Now, I'll tell you, you're going to make it through this, okay? You got to hear me on this. You can make it through this. You will make it through this. Because like I said, you got too much time and resources and energy invested on this thing to just give up, to just call it quits. And I'll tell you a quick story. This stands out to me a lot. And it's about football. And that's where you can, it's any sport really. It's all heart. And it's all determination. Who has the will to keep going? Kellen Winslow Sr. was a tight end for the San Diego Chargers, and they played an AFC playoff game against the Miami Dolphins in Miami, and it was a very hot and humid afternoon and evening because this game went all the way down to the wire, and I believe. It went down to the fourth quarter and went to overtime. I can't remember, but it went down to the wire. And Kellen Winslow was a tight end, like I said, but he was the new era of tight ends. He completely redefined that position because he was so big and so athletic that he could block like a tight end, but he could also run like a wide receiver. This man, by the fourth quarter, everybody was gassed. I mean, they were just going on fumes because it was so hot, it was so humid. They had expended every ounce of energy in their body. But Kellen knew that this game ain't over yet, so he pushed himself and he kept going. He caught, I think, like 13 receptions, had over 100 yards receiving. He ended up. I believe he either scored the game-winning touchdown or he set it up. And at the end of the game, he was carried off. There's a historical video clip of him being carried off the field by two of his teammates. Had a towel over his head, being just literally each arm over their shoulders, being just carried off that field because he just could not walk. He had nothing else. He had given every ounce of energy he had to win that game. Now, if someone is able to do that, then I believe anybody can do that, can give that much on something they want to achieve as far as a goal or a dream. Were there moments in that time where you think that he was thinking, man, I'm tired. I got to take a break. I gotta go to the sideline. They got to sub me out. I got to catch my breath. I got to get some water. I got to get something. But he said, no, I'm not giving in to that because this is our moment. This is my moment. My team is depending on me. I need to rise up. I need to take us to the next level. And he set the tone for the rest of the team, and the team was able to just feed off of that. I'm sure everybody, even the opposing team, were like, I can't believe this guy's still going. But it was incredible. Same with Jack Youngblood, defensive end for the Rams, played an entire playoff game with a fracture in his leg. I mean, that's just heart right there. I mean, I don't even really have to talk anymore. You play defensive end, you got a fracture in your leg. Good luck. I mean, that's just that is just absolutely crazy. But that's hard. That's what I'm talking about. So that's why I said, it ain't over until you win or give up. So you're going to make it through this no matter what. And you're going to prove all the doubters, all the haters, all the naysayers, you're going to prove all of them wrong. Prove to all those people who tried to tear your dreams apart. You can do it. You're going to keep getting up, keep putting on that game face, keep holding on to your dreams. As long as your dreams are alive within your heart that beats in your doggone chest, you will succeed. Use the pain that you're feeling as an energy source. Make that your power. Okay? You guys gotta hear me on that, man. Take that pain, the pain that you're feeling. When you get to that point where you're thinking about that dream to the point where it hurts. I know the pain. Trust me, I know it, man. I know what it feels like. You get to that point where it could bring tears to your eyes how badly you want it because you're thinking about it all the time and it hurts so bad. You got to take that pain and you just got to feed off of it. Use that as your motivation if you ain't got nothing else. Use that. Or use the pain from others giving up on you, abandoning you, saying, this ain't worth it, or you ain't worth it, or everybody's left you and it's just you. You got to take that pain and that misery and that agony you're feeling, that despair, and just use it as an energy source. So I ain't giving up yet. I ain't giving up. You can't give up because you're almost, you're almost there. It's always just a little bit further, I wish I could tell you, it's going to get easier, but it's just going to it's going to get tougher, but you have the strength within you to push through it no matter what. You can get through this, and when you do, you will realize that if you can get through this, you can get through anything. You can get through anything that life throws at you because, like I said, it's just a building block for your character. It's setting you up for the rest of your life to be able to handle any challenges you have coming down the road because sooner or later you're going to be in a leadership role. Sooner or later people are going to look to you for advice, whether it's at your job or with your family if and when you have kids. That's going to people are going to look to you for motivation, for advice. You're going to step into that leadership role, and everybody is going to have that opportunity at some point in their life, and you got to decide right now what kind of a example am I going to be. People are going to look at the road that you've traveled and how you got there, and they're going to look to you for advice. So it doesn't matter how you start, as long as you finish strong. And that was a big thing when I was playing football in high school. I played very sparingly, but that's one thing I remember my coach saying is that I remember towards the end of the season, and towards the end of the school year, when we also did our spring sport, he made us all do spring sports. Pardon me. And but that was the one thing he always said was finish strong. Finish strong. Doesn't matter how you start, just finish strong. That's what I say to you. Finish strong. You may have started slow, but you're gonna finish strong. It's gonna be hard, but it's supposed to be. You're going to experience tough times, but I say you can and you will get through this. And I read this just the other day. 1 Corinthians 9:26 in the Bible says, "So I run straight to the goal with purpose in every step. I fight to win. I'm not just shadowboxing or playing around." So yeah, it's going to be hard, but by God, it's worth it because it's your life. So that's pretty much the meat of what I have to say for right now. So we're going to open this thing back up. So hope y'all enjoyed the little message that I had. like I said, anybody can get through this. We're all feeling tough times. Everybody here at A Successful Frontier, the whopping two guys that we have working here, myself and Sean, have definitely experienced that. Sean, what's your feedback so far? What you got on your mind?
Well, in regards to working through things, one of the things that I found to be very important that helped me a lot more is actually knowing about the proper mentality for it. A lot of people I know are very optimistic about everything all the time, and I actually see that as almost a downfall, because when something bad happens, they're almost trying to convince themselves something good will they're almost in like a state of denial of something good has to come out of it. The way I've always tried to look at things, whether it's a conversation or an interview or whatever, I found that it's best to prepare for something bad to happen, but it's most likely not going to.
Right.
I guess.
So it's kind of like
Pessimistically optimistic, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, realist is what I call it, but
okay.
I mean
That makes sense. I mean, I can understand that. It's like preparing yourself mentally that something challenging is going to happen, so you're already prepared for it, so it doesn't come as like a earth-shattering event for you.
Yeah. It doesn't. It's not. If something bad happens, but it's not going to stop me from what I'm doing, and I'm not going to have to recover from it.
Right.
I can just keep going.
No, yeah, I totally understand that. I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw a quote. That's something. It's something similar to that. It's oh, doggone it, I can't find it, but I think I know. I remember. I don't remember verbatim what it says. Just a paraphrase. It says being positive in a negative situation isn't. I want to say it isn't ignorance. It's called leadership.
Yes.
So that's the first thing that popped to my mind when you started going through that. No, but yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, there is a fine line, and I agree with you. There is a fine line between being there is a fine line between being ignorantly positive,
Yes.
and then being prepared.
Yeah.
So so leaders and people who understand life and all that stuff understand that things can change at any moment, and that's why some people are great leaders, but then the second something really bad, really devastating, something that really changes the tone of everything, they're just like, oh wow, okay, and they kind of fold.
Yeah.
Because they haven't mentally prepared themselves for challenges that were going to arise on whatever frontier that they were on.
Yeah.
You see it happen a lot in the business world.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are just blindly jump into this business idea, expecting it to just take off, and they're just going to run with it. And sometimes, just because of the law of average, it happens.
Yeah.
But most of the time, some unknown problem that they didn't really think about comes and happens, and they just are completely dumbfounded by it, and they get crushed.
Yeah.
And just because they weren't prepared. I'm not saying that anybody who embarks on a journey to achieve their goal or their dream is going to get crushed by the first obstacle they see. You just have to be prepared. You have to know that it's going to be tough, it's going to be challenging, but you can get through it. You can work through it. You can get through anything. Even if it takes you a little bit to analyze the situation and figure out your next step. The fact of the matter is that you're not letting it crush you. You're just responding to it. You're responding to it with integrity.
Yeah.
It's when I think about the no matter what bad thing happens, something good can come out of it.
Yeah.
It makes me think of like, this is the comedian side of me.
Okay.
But
Here we
this is where I think of like something really bad, like something tragic happening that, I don't know, like something bad happening, say like a car accident, or I don't know, or a pilot, or something happens around them, and they're all like, oh, well, I'm sure something can be learned about this. Never mind. I'm digging myself a hole that I gotta get myself out of. So we're just gonna throw that one away. But anyway, that totally makes sense. And so just to recap what we just said, like there is a difference between being prepared and then just being unprepared as far as whatever challenges you may come across. Stay positive, keep an open mind to possibility, but be very aware of challenges that will come across. You can't expect it not to be difficult. I mean, any successful business owner or just successful person at all in general will tell you that it's going to be hard. Like I said earlier in the podcast, the quote I said, if you haven't failed yet, you're not on the right path to success. You're gonna have those moments. You just have to be ready for them. You have to be ready, even if they're still overwhelming. You have to be ready for them regardless. That's the most important thing. And I understand what you were getting at, Sean. That makes total sense.
Yeah, like I didn't think that this just came to mind, but I actually got a message from somebody throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
And they were scared of something, and apparently he's graduating in 2 weeks,
mm-hmm.
and he's absolutely horrified because he's now a real person in society, and now he has to go get a job and pay bills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I told him, because this is the only reason I really survived doing it myself, was the 3 things you need to know is you need to know how to budget, learn the need between need and necessity, and don't think about what you want to do now. You have to think about what you want to. You have to come to a conclusion. What conclusion do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And then decide what is the best way to go about getting to that conclusion day by day.
Right.
Was how,
exactly.
It's a stupid middle school exercise when they're like, what do you want? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? It really does help now.
Yeah.
I mean, back then it doesn't make sense, but
back then we're just
when we're like,
back then, where do you see yourself 10 years? You're like, I can't even see past senior high.
I know. But yeah, so I mean that's that's sound advice. Because I feel that the second you start to settle for whatever, I wanted this job, but this one's okay and it still pays kind of well. That's when you will start becoming not unsatisfied but dissatisfied with what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, and it's just it'll just get worse and worse if you keep doing it with everything else.
Yeah. Steve Jobs had a really good quote. He said, the only way that you can be truly satisfied is to love what you do. To love what you do when it comes to work. He said your work. He said the full quote was your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work.
Yeah.
So, and I take that to heart, and that's advice that I give to every young person who's looking for a career or looking at what they want to do. I tell them, well, find something that you truly love to do, and then, no matter what it is, and find something that you can use that talent in the career field.
Yeah.
And take your time with it. Don't just jump at the first opportunity you see. People who are offering you jobs want you.
Yeah.
So they'll understand if you say, well, all right, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. They'll be more than happy to wait, a couple of days for you to get back. I mean, that happened to a friend of mine. My friend is about to graduate with a degree in electrical engineering, and he went to an interview out in Herndon, I believe, for this software. I believe it was a software design company or something like that. And he went to an interview, and he pretty much got offered the job. And the only downside was that he said the salary was a little less than what he was expecting from what he had done in as far as research. So he said, "Well, okay, this sounds really good, but let me take a couple of days to think about it." And he said, "Yeah, it's fine." So my friend went off, and he got a phone call almost a week later, probably about 5 days. I don't know. He got a phone call from the gentleman who offered him the job, and he said, "Hey, have you thought about it yet?" And my friend was like, "Well, I don't know." And the gentleman was like, "Well, what is it? Is it the pay? I mean, what is it?" And he was like, "Well, yeah, I was expecting, this amount of dollars." And the gentleman was like, "Okay, I'll give you that much. Will you take the job?" And my friend was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Really, the only thing that was keeping him was just the fact that the starting. I mean, the starting salary was a little under what he was expecting coming out of with that kind of a degree in that field.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he mentioned it to that guy who the gentleman who really wanted him to work for him, said, "Okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll give you that much." And my friend was like, "Okay, fine." So he has a job lined up. He graduates next weekend.
Awesome.
So that's why I'm saying, you don't have to jump out at every opportunity you get. Take the time to find something you really want to do, something you really find interesting, even if it's not something 100% what you really, really love to do, as long as you find it interesting, something that you'll learn something from it, something you'll actually take pride in. I do this and I've learned this through doing it.
Yeah.
That's something really important, is to especially in the career field, man, to learn something new every day, no matter how minuscule it is. You take I think that's something everybody can benefit from in the career field, is you take a job that may not be, like I said, 100% what you want, but it's still something you'd be happy to do and you'd find pleasure in doing it. But it's also something that would be enlightening to you and something that you would learn new things about. And, you never know what could happen. So like I said, don't jump at every opportunity. Don't jump at the first opportunity you see, because I may have said this before. Not every opportunity is for you. Not every opportunity is the one you need to go after 100%. The one following it may be your goal, maybe your dream job or dream opportunity. So, take your time with things.
Yeah.
And no, but that's definitely, sound advice that you gave your friend. And another thing that I thought of was my old general manager from Sport and Health that I worked for. Very, very smart guy. He said when it comes to he used military slang to describe basically where you want to kind of relate it to my goal, like what I wanted to do. He was trying to figure out what I wanted out of personal training, and we were one of our meetings one day, and he said, "Well, all right, I've worked with a lot of guys who are in the military," and he went on to say, so basically, if they want to take this position here, well, they start at the end result and they work backwards. So say, okay, we want to take this position here. So in order for us to take this position here, we have to hold this hill here. Okay, in order to hold this hill here, what do we have to do in order to get there? Okay, well, we have to come through this town and secure this town in order to secure this hill. And, they work themselves all the way back through from the end result all the way back to where they're starting at. So they figure out what they need to do in order to get to that point. And I thought that was pretty good advice. I liked that idea.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can use that same kind of step process to figure out what you want to do and how you're going to get there. And I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I believe that is all we got. What are we at as far as time?
Well, let's.
Is it not? Is it only counting by the seconds?
It's counting in beats.
Oh,
It's counting in beats, and
that's funny.
we have a new grid that I'm not used to yet.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, we have a new software. So, okay. Well, how about this? Before we press anything, I'll go ahead and do the outro. So
Okay.
just in
That
case,
works.
just in case
Okay.
something, just in case we click something and something shuts off. So anyway, once again, thank you very, very much for tuning in and listening to the long-awaited episode 4. I'm sure everybody was on the edge of their seats waiting for this, of a successful frontier. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Well, rest of the week. Tomorrow's Friday, and rest of the weekend. Please continue to follow us on Facebook, A Successful Frontier. Give us a like. Please on YouTube, if you could hit that subscribe button, we'd really, really appreciate it. Also, give us a like on there if you enjoy our stuff. We will put a link in the description box for our GoFundMe account. As we've said before, we do this just because we like to do it, but we are open to any kind of contributions you would like to give to us, because I personally would like to make this a full-time thing, or at least something that I could do part-time and generate some income, so that way this will get me closer to what I want to do, which is public speaking. I love speaking. So if you can donate, that would be awesome. If not, just keep listening to us and hit that subscribe button on YouTube, which everybody knows is very important. Yeah, that's all. We will see you again next week. Thank you for tuning into this Thursday special of A Successful Frontier. Have a very, very great week and weekend.